Okay, good day guys, welcome to today on Princess Anu TV, and hope your day went so fine. And guys, today we are going to be discussing about something. It's like, okay, my opinion, and I've also been thinking about it. Let's like reason it together. And I don't want you to take this as okay, a looking down on any other profession or any other part of aviation. But I just want us to like reason it, and so that we can like help ourselves. And now today we are going to be talking about aviation without pilots. Like, is it possible? Is it visible? And can this thing actually work? Like, when you talk about aviation, you know aviation, when you talk about aviation, you're talking about anything that like relates to like flying, anything that relates to like aircrafts and flying, aerospace, and you know, all that. So can we really talk about it without pilots? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So stay tuned guys, I'll be right back for this hot sweet discussion. Okay, welcome back guys, and if you're new to this channel, this is Princess Anu TV. We talk about aviation, motivation, and adventure. And if you've not yet subscribed, make sure you click on that subscribe button and click on that bell so that whenever I post any video, you'll be able to see it. And guys, like I said, we are going to be talking about aviation without pilots. Is it possible? And you know, when you look at the real definition of aviation, you're talking about the act or the science of flying, or another dictionary might put it this way, that is the process or the technology that deals with the transportation of people like through air by using aircraft and all that. That's what aviation is all about. So you can see all these things have to do with like flying. So we can see that these things, like, they relate, they like come into each other one way or the other. And now why I want to talk about this is because, you know, when people look into this flying of a thing, they only consider the pilot aspect. There are other aspects that contribute to making the pilots do their work and to do it well, and to do it like to the best of their ability. If peradventure the engineer did not work on the aircraft, if peradventure the marshaller did not direct you properly, if peradventure the air traffic controller is not there to like give you clearances or tell you that okay, you're cleared, and there's nobody around this airspace, or there's nobody like at your front or at your back, you're cleared to move, we're going to be having like so many crashes, so many incidents and all that. But you see, we only talk about like the flying part most of the time. Even when you talk about the cabin crews, that people that make life a little bit comfortable for us, like in the cabin. And not only that, that's not their major work. Actually, their major work also is like to give proper safety, like safety in the cabin in case of any emergencies and any other thing. Like, they will be best to like tell people, okay, this is how to evacuate, this is what to do, this is that. So guys, now, is it possible, with all these things I've said, is it possible to like have aviation without pilots? Sincerely, I can tell you it's totally impossible. And let me tell you why I'm saying this. It seems like every other subroutes tend not to function without the pilots. Like every other subroutes, they do not function without the pilot. I went to fill the flight plan some days ago, and I met the people like in the AIS office. That's where you like fill flight plan, you submit, then they take it to like the controller and all that. And I was like, I was just gisting with them. I was like, Kai, I know you guys must be missing us because we've not been flying. They were like, Kai, we just sit down here and do totally nothing because nobody is flying. And it's relatable because if we are not there to like fly, nobody's going to like file a flight plan because nobody's going nowhere. So the AIS people, they sit down, they are doing absolutely nothing, and the air traffic controller is just there doing absolutely nothing. So you can see that if pilots are not in this industry, it's just like they are at the top of the food chain, not because like they are better than everybody or they know more than everybody, but it's because like they are the ones that are the top of the food chain. That's how I'm going to put it. Because if we are not flying, the engineers can practically not do. Imagine if you're like working on an aircraft every day, you're servicing an aircraft, nobody's flying it. It's come to a point in time where they will just have to lay off everybody, because there's no point. Why service a machine that nobody is going to use? Why service a machine that nobody will fly? So aviation, I feel aviation cannot exist without pilots in it. So if you're considering, what I'm trying to say, I'm also trying to like encourage the young ones. If you're considering a profession, I will always advise, start from anywhere your resources can like help you start from. Don't always wait to like start from the flying. But if you have enough resources, to do this, and you love the concept about aviation, you love the concept about flying, it's something that you should pick up, because there is no aviation. In fact, let me just give you like a little bit, like especially here in like flight school when we are training, if we are not flying, the engineers, they tend to like close early. The mashallah is not even doing anything. Let's not even talk about that. Even the fan guys, the security guys, they are practically not really doing much, because there's nothing like for them to observe, there's nothing like for them to cross-check, there's nothing for them to, you know, notes. There's totally nothing, because nobody is taking off, nobody is landing, nobody is doing anything. So like engineers release aircrafts and nobody gets to fly them, and the next day they have to just do the checks over again. So guys, what I'm trying to say today is that there's absolutely no aviation without the pilot, and not because they are important, but because at the level they are, they feed other chains. They kind of like feed other chains. So in it all, we all like work together to make this whole thing happen. If the cabin crew is not there, the pilot can practically not control everything. I don't know if you've entered commercial aircrafts, and you see sometimes people like to like drag for seats. That's the most common issues. Like I remember my last flight, I was in the aircraft, and because I intentionally booked that seat, I really wanted to like observe every single thing. So I made sure online when I was booking, like I booked the window seat. And when I came over to board, I saw a woman sitting on my seat, and I came, you know, she was kind of older than me, like very older than I, and like an elderly woman. And I came and I was like, oh sorry ma, you're sitting on my seat. And she was like, how do I know it's my seat? I said, please ma, just check it. And you know, it was almost like turning into something else, but because I know this is how problems used to start. So I was just like trying to talk small, trying to like take my time till like the cabin crew came to like talk to the woman and say, okay, sorry ma, what's your seat number? And like they like sorted it out. You see, these kind of problems cannot be dealt with the pilot. He cannot like control everybody, especially at the passenger area. So just imagine if this kind of thing is happening in the cockpit. We do like call the pilot from the cockpit to come and settle this. So you can see everybody, I'm trying to say everybody's important. If peradventure that aircraft is not serviceable, there's nobody to service that aircraft, which the engineers like they do, and they do their jobs very well. You cannot fly an aircraft that is not serviceable. So you see, despite the fact that the pilots are at the top of the food chain, it's not as if they are like the more important or most important than every other person. We all like work to make sure like this industry moves forward. So guys, pilots you can't have aviation without pilots. Practically, physically, there's no aviation without pilots. So guys, I hope you got the point from this video. It's not like to downplay any part of the aviation industry. I'm trying to tell you that at the top of the food chain you have the pilots, and without them like nothing can actually function. It's just like if you did biology in secondary school or probably in university, you get to understand the way the food chain works. And if peradventure there's nobody here, like these other parts cannot like function properly. So guys, if you have any questions, like you know, live stream is always every day by 11 p.m. If you have any questions, make sure you're there to like ask your questions, and you can also leave your questions below this video. And if there's anything like you like us to talk about, I will always like to know in the comment section. And if you've not yet subscribed, make sure you click on that subscribe button and click on that bell so that whenever I post, you know, any video, you'll be able to see it. I remain your favorite presenter on the same channel. Keep watching Princess Anu TV, guys. Bye, till we meet next time.